Have you ever wondered why so many people after 60 suddenly start dealing with bone fractures, back pain, or brittle joints, even though they never had these issues earlier in life? The truth is, your bones are not static. They are living tissue, constantly being broken down and rebuilt. But after 60, this natural cycle slows down. That's why the food you put on your plate every single day can either speed up bone loss or strengthen your skeleton. And today, we are going to reveal the 5 foods that silently weaken your bones and the 5 foods you must eat if you want to stay strong, mobile, and independent for years to come. Before we dive in, I want to ask you for something. Write in the comments how old you are right now. I want to see the age range of people watching this channel. Your age in the comments will help me understand who I am speaking to, and it will inspire others who are also navigating life after 60. And if you are new here, welcome to Senior Health. Make sure to hit that subscribe button right now and click the bell icon, because every week we post in-depth videos that can truly change your life after 60. We go beyond surface advice and explore the science, the research, and the real stories that show what works and what doesn't. Now let's begin with the problem. 1 out of every 2 women and 1 out of every 4 men over the age of 60 will suffer a bone fracture due to osteoporosis. That is not a rare condition. That is an epidemic. And the shocking part is that much of this risk is not genetic. It is linked to lifestyle, and especially to diet. The foods you eat can leach calcium from your bones, disrupt your hormones, or make your body acidic, all of which accelerate bone loss. On the other hand, the right foods can provide minerals, vitamins, and compounds that build density and resilience. The first category of bone-weakening foods is sugary soft drinks. If you are still drinking sodas after 60, this is a habit that must end today. Soda contains phosphoric acid, which binds to calcium and pulls it out of your bones. Multiple studies, including research from Tufts University, have shown that women who drink cola daily have significantly lower bone density. Think about that. Every glass is silently stealing strength from your skeleton, and the sugar in sodas also increases inflammation, which weakens bone tissue further. Let me ask you directly, are you still drinking cola or maybe flavored sodas? Write in the comments if you struggle with giving them up. The second food group is processed meats like bacon, sausages, and deli ham. Why? Because they are extremely high in sodium. High sodium intake forces your kidneys to excrete more calcium. The more processed meat you eat, the more calcium you lose in your urine. And as you already know, calcium is the main building block of your bones. This is one of the reasons why people who eat high-sodium diets suffer higher rates of osteoporosis. The third culprit is excessive caffeine, especially when consumed through multiple cups of coffee or energy drinks. Caffeine increases calcium loss in urine and interferes with vitamin D metabolism. Vitamin D is essential for absorbing calcium. Without it, your bones are like bricks without cement. Now, this doesn't mean you must give up coffee completely. 1 cup in the morning is fine. But if you're drinking 3, 4, or even 5 cups per day, your bones are paying the price. The fourth food to be cautious about is alcohol. Chronic alcohol consumption reduces the formation of osteoblasts, the cells that build bone. It also damages the liver, which is responsible for activating vitamin D. Without active vitamin D, calcium can't be absorbed effectively, and that means your bones remain weak, no matter how much milk you drink or how many supplements you take. Seniors who drink more than 2 alcoholic beverages daily double their risk of hip fractures. The fifth hidden bone thief is too much salt in general, especially from packaged foods like canned soups, chips, frozen dinners, and fast food. Salt is almost everywhere in the modern diet, and for seniors with slower kidney function, excess sodium has an even stronger effect. It pulls calcium out of bones and raises blood pressure at the same time, creating a double danger. But now let S turn to the positive side, because there are foods that can actually rebuild your bones even after 60. The first bone-building food is low-fat dairy or fortified plant milk. Milk, yogurt, and cheese provide calcium, protein, and vitamin D, if fortified. These are the raw materials your body needs for bone remodeling. But remember, not all dairy is equal. Cottage cheese and plain yogurt are far better than heavy cream or processed cheese. We'll go into details later about which dairy products are best. The second superfood for bones is leafy greens, especially kale, collard greens, and bok choy. These are rich in calcium, but also in vitamin K, which activates proteins that lock calcium into your bone structure. Without vitamin K, calcium simply floats in your bloodstream and can even calcify arteries instead of strengthening bones. The third essential food is fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. These provide vitamin D and omega-3 fatty acids. Vitamin D helps calcium absorption, and omega-3 reduces inflammation that would otherwise break down bone tissue. Seniors who eat fish 2 to 3 times a week have been shown to have higher bone density in multiple studies. The fourth bone-supporting food is nuts and seeds, especially almonds, chia seeds, and sesame seeds. These contain magnesium, which is often overlooked but essential for bone strength. Magnesium helps convert vitamin D into its active form and is required for over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body. Without magnesium, calcium cannot do its job. And finally, the fifth food is beans and lentils. These plant proteins are rich in calcium, magnesium, and potassium. They also provide isoflavones, plant compounds that mimic estrogen. After menopause, when estrogen declines, women lose bone rapidly. Isoflavones from beans can slow this loss. In the next part of this video, we will dig deeper into the science behind these foods, examine the latest research, and share stories of seniors who transformed their bone health with simple dietary changes. But before we move on, tell me in the comments, which of these bone-weakening foods do you eat most often, and which bone-building food is already part of your routine? In the first part of this episode, we uncovered the 5 foods that quietly weaken your bones and the 5 that can strengthen them. But now, let's dig deeper into why these foods matter so much after 60, what the science says, and how seniors just like you have transformed their health by making simple changes. Let's start by looking at the biology of bone aging. Your skeleton might look solid and unchanging, but in reality, it is constantly being remodeled. Osteoclasts break down old bone, while osteoblasts build new bone. In youth, this process is balanced, but after 60, the builders slow down, while the demolition crew keeps working at full speed. That's why bone density declines naturally with age. But diet can tip the balance in your favor. The wrong foods accelerate the destruction, while the right ones fuel the rebuilding. Take soda, for example. Scientists at Tufts University tracked over 2,500 older adults and found that women who drank cola regularly had 4–6% lower bone density in their hips. The culprit was not only the phosphoric acid, but also the displacement of healthier drinks like milk or fortified juices. When seniors choose soda over nutrient-rich beverages, they miss out on calcium and vitamin D, compounding the problem. Imagine your bones as a savings account. Every soda is like making a withdrawal without a deposit. Over time, the account runs dry. Now, consider processed meats and high-sodium foods. The kidneys are the filters of your body, and when overloaded with salt, they pull calcium into the urine. A study from the Journal of Bone and Mineral Research showed that for every 2,000 milligrams of extra sodium consumed daily, calcium loss increased by nearly 30%. That's why cultures with lower sodium diets, like traditional Japanese or Mediterranean populations, have lower rates of osteoporosis compared to Western countries. Caffeine tells another story. While 1 cup of coffee per day is generally safe, studies show that drinking 4 or more cups daily increases fracture risk by 33%. Why? Because caffeine interferes with vitamin D receptors in the intestines. Without vitamin D, calcium simply passes through your digestive system instead of being absorbed. That's why moderation is key. Seniors can still enjoy a morning coffee ritual, but large amounts create silent damage. Let's turn to alcohol. The National Osteoporosis Foundation has long warned that more than 2 drinks per day doubles fracture risk. Alcohol disrupts the function of osteoblasts, the bone-building cells, and also impairs balance and coordination, increasing the likelihood of falls. Seniors who drink excessively face a double danger: weaker bones and a higher chance of falling. Now let us shift gears to the bone builders, the foods that actually work like medicine for your skeleton. Broccoli, kale, and leafy greens deserve special attention. A landmark study published in Osteoporosis International followed women over 60 who ate at least 1 serving of leafy greens per day. They had 20% fewer fractures than women who avoided them. The reason lies in vitamin K. Without vitamin K, a protein called osteocalcin cannot bind calcium to the bone matrix. With vitamin K, calcium locks into place, creating stronger, denser bones. That is why doctors in Europe now recommend seniors include at least 1 cup of leafy greens daily. Spinach adds another layer of protection with magnesium. Magnesium deficiency is extremely common in older adults, partly because medications like diuretics and proton pump inhibitors deplete it. Low magnesium levels weaken bones, even if calcium intake is adequate. This is why some seniors take calcium supplements but still suffer fractures, because without magnesium, calcium can't integrate properly. Spinach, almonds, and pumpkin seeds are natural, delicious ways to restore this missing link. Fatty fish like salmon provide vitamin D, which is often called the sunshine vitamin. But after 60, the skin becomes less efficient at synthesizing vitamin D from sunlight. Even if you spend time outdoors, you may not produce enough. That's why dietary vitamin D is critical. Seniors in northern climates with long winters are especially at risk. In fact, studies from Norway and Sweden show that seniors who eat fatty fish at least twice a week have stronger bones and lower hip fracture rates. Omega-3 fatty acids in fish also reduce bone inflammation, further slowing bone loss. Now let's talk about beans and lentils. In addition to calcium and magnesium, they contain plant compounds called phytoestrogens. After menopause, women lose estrogen rapidly, which accelerates bone breakdown. Phytoestrogens mimic some of estrogen's effects, helping slow bone loss naturally. That's why in cultures where soybeans and lentils are dietary staples, women suffer fewer osteoporosis-related fractures compared to those in Western countries. Stories from real seniors bring this science to life. Let me share one. Barbara, a 68-year-old retired nurse, used to drink soda daily and had been diagnosed with osteopenia, the early stage of bone loss. She decided to cut out sodas entirely and replace them with sparkling water and lemon. She also added kale salads and sardines twice a week. Within 1 year, her bone density scan improved, surprising even her doctor. Barbara said the biggest difference was not only in her bones, but in her energy and digestion as well. Another example is Frank, a 72-year-old grandfather. He had been taking calcium supplements for years, but kept losing bone mass. His doctor finally discovered that he was magnesium deficient due to medication. Once Frank added spinach and almonds to his daily diet, along with a magnesium supplement, his bone density stabilized. Frank says, "I used to think it was just about calcium, but now I realize bones need a whole team of nutrients." Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever made one simple change, like adding leafy greens or cutting out soda, that made a noticeable difference in your health? Share it in the comments. Your experience might help someone else take that first step. In the next part of this episode, we'll tackle the most common myths about bone health. Is milk really the best source of calcium? Do you need supplements? Or can food be enough? Is osteoporosis inevitable after 60? We'll also give you simple shopping and cooking tips, plus my final recommendations to protect your bones for life. Stay tuned, because the conclusion may surprise you. We've covered the foods that weaken your bones and those that can strengthen them, and we've looked at the science and the stories behind these choices. Now, let's bust some myths, give you practical tools, and close with a clear action plan that can help you feel stronger, safer, and more independent after 60. Let's start with myths, because they confuse so many people. The first myth is, milk is the best and only source of calcium. While milk does contain calcium, it is not the only option and not always the best one for seniors. Many older adults have lactose intolerance, which means they cannot digest milk properly. This can cause bloating, cramps, or diarrhea. If you are one of them, you may have avoided milk for years and assume that means you're doomed to weak bones. But the truth is, calcium is abundant in leafy greens, fortified plant milks, sesame seeds, almonds, and even certain fish like sardines with bones. You do not need to drink milk to have strong bones. You just need a variety of calcium-rich foods that your body tolerates well. Another myth is osteoporosis is inevitable after 60. This is false. While bone density naturally declines with age, the rate of loss can be dramatically slowed with proper diet, exercise, and lifestyle. Seniors who engage in weight-bearing exercises like walking, dancing, or light resistance training can maintain much higher bone strength than sedentary peers. Combine that with a bone-friendly diet, and osteoporosis is far from guaranteed. Think of aging not as a sentence, but as a choice of how well you support your body. A third myth is supplements are always enough. Many seniors believe they can simply take a calcium pill and not worry about food. But studies show that calcium supplements alone often do not reduce fracture risk. In fact, taking high doses of calcium without vitamin K, vitamin D, and magnesium can cause calcium to deposit in arteries instead of bones. That increases heart risk instead of reducing fracture risk. Supplements can help, but they should complement a healthy diet, not replace it. Food provides a natural balance of nutrients that pills cannot match. Now let's turn to practical advice. The simplest shopping rule for bone health is this: focus on fresh, whole foods and limit packaged, salty, and sugary items. When you're at the grocery store, spend more time in the produce and fresh fish sections and less time in the aisles with canned soups, chips, and processed meats. Cooking tips matter too. For example, steaming broccoli lightly for 3 to 4 minutes preserves the compound sulforaphane, which protects bone cells. Roasting carrots with a little olive oil improves absorption of beta-carotene. Pairing kale with lemon juice enhances iron absorption. These small tweaks make your meals not only delicious, but more effective for your health. Exercise also works hand in hand with food. Every time you put weight on your bones, whether by walking, climbing stairs, or lifting light weights, you send a signal to your body to build stronger bones. This is why astronauts in space lose bone mass quickly, because without gravity, their bones don't experience stress. For you, the opposite is true. The more safe weight-bearing movement you do, the stronger your bones will remain. Let's share another real story. Susan, a 65-year-old retired librarian, was diagnosed with osteoporosis and told to prepare for medication. Instead, she decided to give herself 6 months of lifestyle changes. She added kale salads 3 times a week, salmon twice a week, and swapped soda for mineral water. She also began a daily walking routine. 6 months later, her bone density scan improved, and her doctor delayed medication. Susan said, "I realized it's never too late to take back control. Now I want to ask you, have you ever been told you have osteopenia or osteoporosis? If so, what changes did you try? Food, supplements, or exercise?" Write it in the comments, because your journey could give courage to others. As we close, let's summarize. After 60, bone health is one of the most important pillars of your independence. 5 foods quietly weaken your bones: sodas, processed meats, excess caffeine, alcohol, and salty packaged foods. On the other hand, 5 foods can rebuild them: dairy or fortified plant milks, leafy greens, fatty fish, nuts and seeds, and beans or lentils. The science is clear, and the stories from real seniors prove it. You can make a difference starting today. But remember, this is not about perfection. You don't have to give up everything at once. Start with one swap. Replace soda with sparkling water. Add 1 cup of leafy greens to dinner. Snack on almonds instead of chips. Each small step is a deposit in your bone savings account, and the earlier you start, the stronger the rewards will be. So here is my final call to action. If you learned something new today, hit the subscribe button right now and join our senior health community. Share this video with a friend or family member who needs stronger bones, and most importantly, leave a comment with your age and your story. Tell us what bone health challenge you face, or what food you've added to your diet. Your words could change a life. And if you want to take your health to the next level, check out the link in the description. I've included an affiliate link to a high-quality calcium, magnesium, vitamin D supplement designed for seniors. It's an easy way to support your bones while you improve your diet. Thank you for being here. Remember, aging is not about losing strength. It's about choosing smarter habits. Your bones are listening to every bite you take, every step you walk, and every decision you make. Make them strong, and they will carry you far.